Assalamu alaikum guys. In this video we will talk about a small note about exceptions in Laravel in case of using through if or using if and then throwing an error inside if block. First of all, here I have generated a new exception using PHP artisan make exception, and I called it post node active exception, right? And here, as you know, each exception has its own report method. What does this report mean? If I comment this one, right, and here now I have my log, and I am throwing this exception here in the web file, this endpoint, and if I open this endpoint here, I will throw, we can see test exception message comes from here, test exception message, and it has been wrote as all of these things here. But in production, actually, I prefer to write where is the file exactly and the line that causes this exception or error. So instead of this, I implemented or I used the report which writes to log file by default, and I say it line, show me the line, and file, show me in which file this error happened. Now let's remove this again, and I will refresh. As we can see, post is not available, our message, and he says it happens in this line 330 inside helpers.php file. Why? It's actually correct, but the real error happens in web.php file in this line 24 line, or where I threw the exception. And the reason behind that, if I open this through if method, it's implemented as a helper inside helpers.php file, and here is the line that throws this exception, as we can see here. So here is the reason. But in case of we use the normal way using if here, right, I will do it again, same result. But if I back to my log, it happens in line 21 in the web.php file, as we can see here. If I opened it, web file line 21, and exactly the real error line and file. But you may say it's okay, I can find out it from the message in my local or in the production. But in production, as Laravel suggested here in the documentation, they says set the app debug inside the .m file to false in the production always, right? But if we remove this and I will set to false, right? Imagine now our application in the production send a request 500 error, right? So this is a more safe message to the user. If I back to my laravel.log again here, I can find also the same thing. Or if you want to continue using the through if to get rid of if, you can get it from the trace, the get trace method. So I will say trace this get trace. It will also through the long message, because if I throw it again, okay, back to my laravel.log, as we can see here, line 330 and helpers, but in the trace here I can see it happens inside the web.php file inside line 24. But you see here that all trace actually that may cause a file or large file size. So here is the point actually. Even I use the same thing here inside api.php. Let's remove this trace. I am using the normal way here to throw it directly, and if I open my Thunder client, send server error here. If I back, I will see it in the bottom of my file through its normal message inside api.php file, right? Also, you can use the same trace method inside the exception if you want to get it in case of using through if method here. So everything costs actually, so the decision is yours. And yeah, that's it. If you found this useful, support me by clicking on like, share and subscribe. See you next videos.